I'd like to share with you a really cool recipe for making awesome paper mache paste using Play-Doh. If you don't know what paper mache paste is, it's typically a paste that you use to dip paper in and then create a sculpture with. Pastes typically can be bought at the store, or you can make them at home using flour and salt and water and glue and all kinds of things. I discovered using Play-Doh for paper mache paste one night when I was attending a meeting on how to make paper clay. And I thought to myself, well, Play-Doh is kinda made of the same materials that paper mache paste is made with, like flour. However, I find whenever I try to make Play-Doh out of flour, it doesn't come out as good as the real thing. I got to thinking, well, why is that? What is it about Play-Doh that makes it so strong and so awesome? So I figured, well, can I possibly take this Play-Doh and turn it into paper mache paste? So I got out my blender, and I got out some Play-Doh, and I got some paper towels and recycled paper, and I ended up creating a really cool paper mache paste. And this bowl is really hard. Like, it's pretty solid. You can't drink out of it, but you couldn't drink out of a paper mache bowl anyways. But what you can do with it is you could use it as a planter to hold your plants. Really cool. You could paint it if you want, or you could use it as a decorative object to hold pencils and things. What I really like about using Play-Doh though is that it dyes the container. So I used blue Play-Doh and you get a blue container. I used some purple Play-Doh to make this bowl. And today I'm gonna hopefully make some powerful pink paper mache, Play-Doh paper mache paste with this pink Play-Doh. I'm really excited. This project you probably want to do with your family because you will need a blender and you will need an adult to help you with that. So you can follow along if you want, if you're really ambitious and you want to follow along live with me, or my recommendation is to watch the video and see if you like it, if it's something you want to try out as a family, and then you can do it on the weekend or when you have time. It's a really fun activity and I enjoyed it. It is a little messy, so I would suggest possibly making it on a workbench or on the kitchen counter and then maybe taking the project outside. In fact, the sun would be a really good element to help these dry a lot faster. This dried in about 24 hours. However, this bowl dried in about a week due to some ventilation issues with the container that I had it in. So anyways, all right, I hope you like it. Here we go. So welcome to my kitchen counter. Let's go over some of the supplies that I'm using and get started. So I have with me my blender. I have my Play-Doh. I have a container to hold the paper mache paste that we make. I have some old drawing paper that I kind of ripped up into sections so I can cut it up easier. I have some containers that I plan on using for my molds. So I'm going to start by taking my Play-Doh out and, ooh, it's new. You don't have to use new Play-Doh for this, by the way. So I'm going to break this up into little chunks. Okay, I don't want to just throw it in because then it will have a hard time mixing. So I'm going to break it up into these little, like, chocolate. Okay, here we go. Let's try. Alright, I'm going to go grab another 4th cup of water.
Well, let's try it. Really, I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. Like, I'm not even adding the whole thing. I'm really nervous about adding too much water. You add too much water to your Play-Doh paste, that won't be as strong. It'll be really diluted, and your bowl won't be as strong. But like I said,
alright, let's see. Okay, I guess that looks pretty good. Like, I don't know if you can see like how the consistency is of it, but it's like runny yogurt. For the most part, the blender is not needed anymore. I'm gonna rinse this out so that the Play-Doh paste doesn't dry in this. Okay, Alright, so I got my Play-Doh paste. It's still looking a little thick, but that's okay. We're gonna run with it. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut up my paper to make some strips. I'm gonna cut up a bunch of this because once your hands get sticky, then it's hard to, you don't want to be handling scissors with sticky hands and all that.
That way I don't have to worry about it later. I try to make them.
If you're working on a surface, you can put down a cover. I'm just going to use my bare counter. So getting my paper all wet, getting it really saturated, and just covering. Really trying to form the paper around my bowl. This is a messy project. Hey there, I wanted to stop and show you this one part, how I wrap things around the edge. So after I get my paper covered in Play-Doh goop, I stick it on the side, and then I carefully sort of wrap it around the edge. And I make sure I get enough of it on the inside. That way it makes a nice wrap around the rim. Alrighty, so the last thing I do with my vessel or my cup, I just like to add paper towels along the outside. I just find that I like the texture that it gives a lot more than just the plain paper. Not gonna lie, paper mache does take some finesse. You're probably not gonna be like a master at it the first time you do it. It just takes some getting used to, like how to keep the paper sticking on. Sometimes if you like have too much of a rough touch, like you can like end up like taking the paper off if you're like grabbing onto it too much. So it's kind of a weird balance between having a feather light touch and sort of smoothing it on. Alrighty, so I'm finished covering my cup. I'm gonna go set it on a plate and set it by the window so it can dry. Alright, so here I am with my plastic cup, and I'm just gonna start by dipping my paper strips in my Play-Doh paste and squeegeeing it off with my fingers, and then start wrapping it around my cup. I actually like to start with the outside first. You need to decide how tall you want your cup to be. I'm going to do about halfway again, because this will be a lot of wrapping, and we need to make 3 layers, so okay. Sometimes I like to go around and do a few layers just on the top edge to try to make it really neat. Alright, I'm going to work on the bottom a little bit here, using some of these smaller pieces and just kind of reinforcing the bottom. So that's pretty much all covered. I'm going to do a paper towel layer, and then that'll be it. And kind of get my hands Play-Doh-y again and sort of press it on to my cup. And this just kind of adds a smooth, like, finished layer. It gives it a nice texture, I find. Make sure you use enough Play-Doh paste on here, though, because if you have any dry bits, it's not going to be good. Okay, I'm going to put this upside down, like this, so that my cup doesn't end up sticking to my plate. Okay, alright. I will go put this outside and we'll check on it later. Alright, so I've got my finished cup that dried outside. It's not completely dried yet, but it's still kind of flexible enough to where I can take the plastic cup out. If I gently squeeze kind of on both sides and then just gently pull and rotate the cup, it should come all the way out. It's not completely dry yet. I'll have to wait for it to dry the rest of the way before I can start trimming it and doing other things. So I'm going to go leave it back outside, maybe put a rock in it so it doesn't blow away, and then we'll check back in about another hour and see if it's dry.